What's up, guys? It's Snugs, and today we're going to talk about strategy and how to set up your rituals. First things first, if you enjoyed this content and you found it helpful, please leave me a sub and hit that like button. It really helps me out. Step number one, drink coffee. It's going to net you more profit. I'm kidding. Let's get into it. All right, the first thing we want to do is we want to find an area that makes sense for us to kind of set up, right? The way that it works in Path of Exile 2, this is with Breach or any of the strategies, is we want to find a nice big area that's kind of surrounded by towers. So we're pathing to those towers first, and we're leaving that inside area. Something kind of like this as well. So what I'm doing now is I'm pathing around and trying to get to more towers. I'll probably hit these. That way, all of these are going to be, hit by multiple tablets, which is kind of what we're looking for. So you end up with a big line of text on a single map that kind of looks like this. So path to the towers first, try not to run through the middle, or try to take the path of least resistance and get as many precursor tablets on single nodes as you can. Now, these are the precursor tablets that I have found work fantastic for me. You don't have to use this exact setup, but this is kind of what I've ended up liking. The first one is going to be monster sacrificed at ritual altars in your maps grant 10% increased tribute. This one happens to have quant on it. You don't need quant, but it's just kind of a nice little bonus. Pack size on that prefix line is probably the ultimate, overall best that you can get. The next one is going to be rerolling favors at ritual altars in your maps, cost 12% reduced tribute. This one has rarity on it. Again, not necessarily optimal for ritual, but it's just a little bit of a bonus. Pack size is better. And then deferring favors at ritual altars in your maps, cost reduced tribute. This combination of these three are what I consider to be the base floor. This is what you, for sure, in my opinion, want on all of your ritual, on all of your maps in the area. But let's say, okay, Snugs, but I've got 5 towers in the area, so what do I do after I have those 3 in? Well, one thing you could add is you could add ritual favors in your maps, have % increased chance to contain omens. That's a solid one to put in. You could put in another monster sacrifice at ritual altars in your maps, grant increased tribute. That's probably the most optimal. If you want to go for omens, that works a ton. The other one that you could go for is you can reroll favors an additional time, but those are extremely expensive. So I typically don't go for those because those are over a divine at this point. Also, a quick note on the tablets that allow you to reroll an extra time. If you have a big, 20,000 tribute on that 4th page that you got, the odds are you're probably not even going to be able to defer it because it may be over 3,000 tribute to defer at that point anyway. So just something to kind of think about. Typically why I don't use them. Now, real quick, let's talk about the tree. This is the tree that I have been using currently. The nodes that are on the actual ritual atlas part are still exactly the same. We're still taking spreading darkness, tempting offers, ominous portents, and he approaches. I prefer going this point first, into this point, into this point, and then into this point. That's just how I like to do it. You can change that, obviously, but these are what I find to work the best. Over here, we're taking some pack size. Pack size is really important in the strategy. We have 1 rare increase duplicated. That goes nicely with the 1 to 2 additional modifiers. This part doesn't affect ritual all that much, but having this node in combination is just really, really strong. So in my opinion, we still take it. Again, bunch of pack size, a little bit of waystone, but mainly that's just to get into the precursor tablet stuff. What I have found, at least lately, is that the precursor tablet stuff is stronger than going down and taking like more pack size or more rarity or even increased waystones. I have not found that increased waystones is actually that important for the strategy. I'm over-sustaining, no problem. The main thing is if you're just running your actual waystones, alked and exalted, you're not going to have a problem. Waystones have 25% more effective prefix modifiers. This, again, comes down to that pack size. If you have pack size, which we'll talk about here on your waystones, we'll talk about that here in just a second. This is a really, really strong notable. I am taking local knowledge. I'm not 100% sold on this, but I will say just the other stream, the other day, I got 9 divines or 3 perfect jewelers. So, and because we're not really chasing, raw divines on the ground from this, I find this to be really, really good. And then we're taking more effect of your precursors. It's just really strong. All right, let's talk about your waystones real quick, because this part, like I showed you in the tree, we're scaling precursor tablets and we're scaling waystone. So for what I have found, the increased magic monsters, increased rare monsters, right? Having those 3 mods for me, I think is really good. The rarity is just a bonus. You don't really need it. But this is kind of what the typical Waystone that I'm going for looks like. Doesn't have to be exactly this, but this for me is opt. One thing to mention real quick, this strategy is so heavily about efficiency that if you've done, you've seen your 3 pages, there's nothing good on it, you've killed your rares on the map, just leave. Don't kill things in the corner and fiddle around. Just leave the map and move on to the next one. If your map is not connected to another map that you're going to end up running, don't even finish it. Just leave, right? You've ran your ritual altars, just leave, because you want to move on to something that is creating profit for you. Now, I'm actually going to do a map real quick just to kind of show you kind of how I do it. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in our fortress here real quick. All right, we got our first ritual here. I'll kill the stuff around it. I'm not even going to check the first one. Second one I'm going to check just to make sure that there's no like omens of corruption or amelioration sitting in the window. Sometimes they'll be sitting in the window early. Another breach. Kind of makes me sad we're not running them, but what are you going to do? All right, well. Rip video. Okay, so we have our window open here. I can tell you, you want to be pretty picky on your first page, especially. I'll check, some things. I've got a video on what to check. I'll put that up here in the card, and we'll re-roll our last page. Normally, you have that on the third one, and we don't get anything good. That's the map. We've already killed all the rares. I'm out. Let's talk about when you should be spending your points and when you shouldn't be. This is tribute points. On your first page, you want to be really picky. The reason is because you haven't seen what's on the coming pages. So a good rule of thumb is if you are looking at an item and it costs more than 300-400 tribute, I would probably hold off and not take it unless it's deferring a big item or taking a big item. Just had to cut on the camera, guys. There it is. This is why I'm using local knowledge. Sammy thanks you for hitting the like button. All right, let's talk about a little bit more when to take big items and when not to. The whole idea, and this is the strongest recommendation I can make doing this strategy, if you have a big item that you have been deferring, keep deferring it until it is on the last page and you can buy it outright. The reason is because you want to keep the momentum going. You want to continuously see more and more pages. Be efficient, play fast. But when you can finally afford that item outright on the last page, then take it. Be really stingy with your first page and second page. Only take items that you know are going to make you money, unless you feel like you really have more than enough tribute. That is the biggest piece of advice I can give you after doing thousands of rituals. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope this helped a lot. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content and you felt like it helped you. But thank you so much and have an amazing day. Thanks, guys.